year 2020 was defined by numerous challenges that have impacted the lives and livelihoods of the world's people. And we here in St. Kitts-Nevis are no exception. In the midst of our anticipation for a year of exceptional developments, marking an historic turning point as far as the attainment of 2020 was concerned, our expectations were dashed by the global pandemic that is indeed a life-changing phenomenon. Today, we are not only grappling with a deadly pandemic that has decimated millions of lives, but one that is threatening the existence of all who have survived it. Our mode of operations has been transformed as we endeavor to cope with the demands of family life and staying on the breadline. The institutions that are the heartbeat of our society are faced with the challenges dictated by the onset of this pandemic. Our healthcare systems, for example, are under threat of being pressured by the demands of increased cases of patients who are victims of the coronavirus. Our medical personnel, they are strained and are themselves at risk as first responders in treating the affected and preventing further associated complications from this deadly pandemic. And so government must prove themselves to be visionary in protecting their citizens on every front. This is not the time for chest beating, as we are still not out of the woods, especially as we see the more developed nations teetering under the strain of phenomenal increases in mortality and morbidity rates. And so in the midst of this, we approach the Christmas season with sobering thoughts of what we as citizens must be prepared to do to ensure that we enjoy the company of family and friends while being mindful of the repercussions of our every action. And so let us regard this Christmas season as one that demands that we be resilient but responsible, culturally connected but considerate, being sensitive to what is required to stem the spread of this virus. In so many ways, we are compelled to reflect on the experience of the Christ of Christmas, whose birth engendered a global response, including that of a vindictive leadership who was threatened by his existence. And so with the dawn of 2020, we were optimistic that we would have had the opportunity to resume the transformative process of our people, to restore and rebuild the strong legacy of visionary leadership that is needed in these challenging times. As with the onset of the virus, many hopes were dashed, and too many continue to sink in despair. Rising unemployment and underemployment, increased debts, foreclosures, all the experiences of our citizens in the diaspora and right here in our Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis. Many are living the nightmare of unfulfilled promises, poor decisions, and uninformed choices, especially in the aftermath of June the 5th. Many are, of course, crumbling under the resumption of numerous discriminations and vindictiveness as they are forced into a state of joblessness, want, and hardship because of the selective policy of an uncaring government. Our intention as a party was to endeavor, with your support, that this period of crisis comes to an end. Your well-being will continue to be paramount to us. And that is why we will not relent in advocating for your best interest. And so as we stand at the end of this year, we are painfully aware that many will have to contend with unintended outcomes that will mar your experience in the ensuing years. We will admit that our regrets have been numerous. There has been much consternation regarding what is on the horizon of our existence. For many, there is hardly a glimmer of hope. My admonition is steadfastness and perseverance, two important attributes that kept the wise men and which have relevance for us in our present environment. At this Christmas time, when all around us are losing hope, let us as a people raise our hands and our hearts to pay homage to the one who gave us the gift of life and the daring of hope in the midst of the various manifestations of global terror. Let us, however, not despair, but embrace the new beginnings ushered in by the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ, whose advent brought hope to mankind over 2,000 years ago. So let us all receive the divine message that will inspire our being as we transcend the confines of our present state and soar in the brightness of His glory this Christmas season. On behalf of the St. Kitts-Nevis Parliamentary Opposition and the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party, I wish you all a Christ-filled Christmas. Please be safe and be hopeful. God bless you. Thank you.